Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
The Lions of Farrell have waited decades for this opportunity as they'll compete for the Catholic League Championship. They've beaten Iona once this season, but this is the game that matters the most. And for the Gales, they're looking for their second straight title in this, their fifth consecutive appearance. And that is what is on the line here today at Fordham University. It is the Catholic AAA Championship game, and it is live here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. I want to thank our sponsors for today's game, Catholic Health, as well as Maspeth Federal Savings. Well, a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Pat Godfrey. It is our absolute honor to bring you this, the Catholic AAA Championship game. And you think of the history of this league and all the different teams and the different eras of football in this Catholic League. It's one of the reasons why we take this one so seriously, and it should be an absolute terrific game between two teams who have met each other this year. Farrell winning on the road at Iona. It was their statement win. They went to St. Anthony's and won at St. Anthony's, but then to beat the defending champions, the number one ranked team in the state on the road in New Rochelle, they opened eyes on that Friday night.
Yeah, just about 5 weeks ago, that was the first time in 2 years that Iona Prep had lost to a New York State team. This is a team that has been in 5 straight title games here in this AAA division, going up against a Farrell team that some believe is the team of destiny. They shocked the nation just a few weeks ago. Here they are trying to repeat it, but it's a tall task for Rocco Del Priore and his team against the most talented team we've seen in a long time come through this AAA division.
Let's take a look at the bracket, how these two teams got here today. As you see at the top, Farrell, really courtesy of that win over Iona, they both get a bye, but then it's the 1-4 game versus the 2-3. Usually that's an advantage, but shockingly this year, 2 lopsided games in the semifinals. So both Farrell and Iona proving beyond a shadow of the doubt that these two are the two best teams in the league this year. And you take a look at the tail of the tape to see how these teams, you see the identical records, you see the Catholic League titles. So many things are similar between these two sides.
Monsignor Farrell having an excellent year. They're undefeated against New York State competition. That one loss coming against a really good Del Barton team in New Jersey. On the flip side for Iona Prep, that only loss coming against Monsignor Farrell. They went into Jersey. They beat Paramus Catholic. They are a top squad scoring over 40 points a game. So it's going to be real tough for the Farrell defense to try and stop Guzman, Crew Davis, and company. As you can see, relatively even matchup. Both teams really strong offenses, really good defenses. It should be a lot of fun in what a lot of people are calling the New York State Game of the Year.
When we last saw these Gales as they come marching across the field, led by their head coach, Joe Spagnuolo, this is very much a business trip for these guys. We saw them in this game a year ago, and they handily defeated St. Anthony's to win the AAA championship. They have had this date circled on their calendar, and these guys very much wanted Monsignor Farrell on the other side. It was Farrell winning at their place, celebrating maybe what some would say a little bit too much on their field, and of course that brings added motivation for these Gales. But make no mistake, this is a team built to win championships. They are loaded. They are deep. They are talented. There's a lot of future college players on this roster. And let's meet a couple of them now as we take a look at our players to watch for these Gales. And yeah, this guy, a year ago, Crew Davis, really got known in the national landscape with his performance against St. Anthony's. He is the guy this year in the Catholic League, and Josh Simmons, very much part of the future, a guy who will play. They will both play college football in their futures.
Yeah, Crew Davis is a UNC commit going to play for Coach Belichick down in Chapel Hill next year. He's really made himself known on championship weekends consistently throughout his whole career up in New Rochelle. This guy is the most electric running back you will see toting the rock in New York State. And on the flip side of the ball, can't say enough about the linebacker, Josh Simmons. He's 6'5", he's 240 pounds. He's got offers from the likes of Bowling Green, UMass, and Dartmouth, and he's one of the best pass rushers you'll see out here all year long. So Bryce Moore going to have to keep eyes in the back of his head, make sure number 8 ain't coming down, because it could be a hurting when he gets there.
And Monsignor Farrell, as we said, they went to St. Anthony's and they won. They went to Iona and they've won. It is a team that is having one of its best seasons in a very long time. And these Lions, they are a dangerous team. They are balanced as well. They've got young players who are standouts, and we take a look now at 2 of their players to watch. On the left, it is the big cannoli himself, Carlo Della Ragione, the big left tackle. He's going to be integral with that big line of Ionas to stop them and allow Moy to do his stuff. And on the other side, Charles Costanzo, what a year he has had at the linebacker position.
Yeah, can't say enough about the big cannoli, Carlo Della Ragione. He's 6'2", 315 as just a junior. Big thing of note, he didn't play the last time these two teams met up, so that could be an opportunity for Farrell to further establish themselves on the ground. On the flip side of the ball, Charlie Costanzo, only a sophomore at 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a promising guy with a very bright future, but the future is now. He's got to play the game of his life. Comes into this game with 2 tackles for loss, a couple of picks, and a couple of forced fumbles. Look for number 16 to get going from that strong safety spot for the Lions D.
It is Monsignor Farrell. It is Iona Prep. It's the Catholic AAA championship game. We'll have our keys to the game and the opening kickoff when we return on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Captains for both teams meeting at midfield for the coin toss. Two guys who have led them here, the head coaches of both of these teams. And there you see game face on for Joe Spagnuolo. 10th season at the helm. Once upon a time was the gunslinger for Iona Prep. Class of 1998. Coach Lou DiRienzo is his defensive coordinator in his 6th season. Pat Gallo is his OC. On the other side is Rocco Del Priore, a guy who lives and breathes Monsignor Farrell football. His 6th season as the head coach, no stranger though as part of this program. 2005 graduate of Monsignor Farrell, has worked under previous head coaches Ben Cerullo and Tony Garofalo. Time now for our keys to this game.
Yeah, Dylan, looking at this matchup, going to be really important for both sides to execute all day long. For Farrell, keep their QB in front of you. Guzman is a guy who can use his feet and really burn them down the stretch. The last time these two teams met up, Iona almost able to come back in that game, so going to be really important. Got to control the line of scrimmage. You got some big dudes up front. Make sure you win that battle in the trenches, and then ball security and takeaways. Last game against Chaminade, they came away with a pick on the opening possession for Chaminade, and the rest was history. They'd love to make that the story again today. For Iona Prep, block their box. Make sure you're taking care of business up against that big front seven for Farrell. Limit explosive plays on defense. These guys, Bryce Moy, as well as his brother Braxton, can really make you hurt with those deep balls. Make sure you keep everything in front of you, and then you got to finish drives. Last time around, they left some points on the board, especially going into halftime up there in New Rochelle. They got to make sure they execute in those situations if they hope to emerge with their 2nd straight AAA title.
Beautiful fall afternoon here in the Bronx. The weather ideal, 50 degrees. Barely a wind in the sky. That Burrows kick is a short one and is fielded by the up man. So good field position for Iona Prep to start off with. They are led out by their senior quarterback. His future is on the baseball diamond at Maryland, but Julian Guzman, much like Gary Merrill was last year and the year before that for St. Anthony's, a terrific dual threat quarterback. Look at those numbers, Pat, on the season.
Yeah, 2,500 total yards, over 600 of those coming on the ground, alongside 9 rushing touchdowns. So pick your poison if you're an opposing defense. Guzman can beat you both ways.
Opening handoff goes to Crew Davis, and Davis explodes out to midfield. What an opening statement made by Crew Davis.
Crew Davis is a guy who doesn't need a big hole to really make you pay. Right there, just ran behind that big left side of the offensive line, Guerrero and Maspeth, and took it for over 10 on the opening snap.
Quick out to Perillo, up the sideline, hit hard. Let's meet the starting offense for Iona Prep. In addition to Guzman and Davis, you've got Wolf, Perillo, Lewis, and Cassidy at the receivers. Up front, Dylan Milage at left tackle, Guerrero at left guard. At center is Mailspin, big old Anthony DiNapoli at right guard, and Deshaun Harley at right tackle.
Big opportunity for Iona Prep is just their size advantage on that offensive front. They're averaging close to 300 pounds among those 5 guys. They're really going to look to lean on a smaller defensive front for Monsignor Farrell.
Guzman slings it. That is complete for Perillo, and he will get the first down for the Gales.
Right here, Guzman does a good job delivering a strike after this play action. Rolls out to his left, finds Perillo, and the Gales offense is off to a really quick start. Has Monsignor Farrell on their heels.
1st and 10 from the 30. Hand off. There goes Davis again, bursting up the field. Let's meet the Monsignor Farrell defense if we even get a chance how quickly Iona's going. Palazzola, Vital, Savino up front. Doyle, Madragiulio, Insalaco, Pasqualone as your corner along with Libretta, Costanzo, Leverock, and Vento at the safety positions.
Leverock, a guy who had a big interception down in their own territory against Chaminade on the opening possession, the semifinal. Would love a huge play here.
Look at the protection for Guzman. Looks end zone and throws out of the back of the end zone. Perillo was his intended target. But a lot of protection there, Pat, from the big boys up front for Iona.
Yeah, he had all day to throw, and I love that play call right there by Coach Gallo on 2nd and 2. You know that a 3rd and 2 situation is very manageable, so you get a little bit aggressive on 2nd down. Nothing there. You still got the opportunity to move the chains right here with the likes of Crew Davis and company.
A great crowd here in Rose Hill. Handoff goes to Brennan Presley. Tries to push forward, but by the sounds of it, Farrell Nation in front of us says that he was stopped.
Yeah, it's a really good job by that Farrell front 7, just flying to the ball. Couple different guys in there. Looked like Master Julio was the first to get there. And Iona Prep is going to start this one off aggressively, going for it on 4th down on this opening possession.
Yeah, 4th and 1. Here we go. First big moment of this championship game. Hand off. Davis works behind the hole. Davis, a first down and a little bit more. Down inside the 5.
One thing that's so impressive about Crew Davis, not only is he a track champion, but he can also lay the boom. Look at that stiff arm right there. Able to move the chains. Was looking like a really nice drive here on this opening possession. Remember, last time these two teams met, Iona Prep only put up 7 points in that first half.
And you saw the block by P.J. Gallo, fullback, to help Davis get to a 1st and goal situation. And so often, this is prime Brennan Presley territory. Davis options out to the left. Handoff to number 2, Presley. Turns, spins, still on his feet, Presley. And that's one of the things that Farrell does so well. They rally to the football as they tackle him at the 5.
Yeah, it's a good job. Whole host of Farrell defenders getting in there. Presley's going to break a couple tackles. Carlo Della Ragione unable to bring him down, but ultimately Pascalone gets in there and finishes him off. And that's really going to be a key to success out here today for this Farrell defense, making sure you're getting 4, 5, 6 hats on the ball every single time.
2nd and goal from the 5. Inside handoff. Davis looks for a hole, pushes forward, but he is sent backwards.
Yeah, right there, Charlie Costanzo, one of a host of guys in on that tackle. Our defensive player to watch for Monsignor Farrell.
So a 3rd and goal now from the 2. Already high drama here on the Rose Hill campus of Fordham University.
Look for Iona to lean on that big offensive line. Such a size advantage up front.
Guzman takes it himself, angles towards the end zone, gets hit, but he's in. Julian Guzman, touchdown, Iona Prep.
Yeah, right here, you're going to see Monsignor Farrell's defense sell out on this play fake to Crew Davis, trying to stop him up the gut. Julian Guzman just going to pull that one. Really good read with a little bit of a read option there, and is able to tuck it for his 10th rushing touchdown of the season.
So now Nico Diamandis is on. Diamandis the kicker, Cassidy to hold, and Wells is your long snapper. Diamandis' kick is up, and it is good. And Iona Prep makes a big opening statement here in this, the Catholic AAA championship game.
Yeah, Monsignor Farrell's on their heels from the opening snap right there. We saw Crew Davis open things up. Whole host of different guys get involved on that opening drive. And after a big 4th down conversion, Guzman able to finish it off.
With this pause in action, Varsity Media reminds parents, coaches, and booster clubs, if you'd like coverage of your team on Varsity Media, contact us today to book a sportscast. Your team deserves the best coverage with the best announcers. Any team at any level can book by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
So now all of a sudden that pressure shifts over to the Monsignor Farrell sideline.
Yeah, deep for the Lions. You got Houston, Pascalone. as Diamandis, we didn't see him earlier in the year, was injured when they played St. Anthony's and Chaminade, and he too goes for the short kick, fielded by the up man. And Farrell Nation was getting excited. They thought that had the potential of getting back to the house. But now, listen, if Guzman is the present, Bryce Moy is very much the future, although his present is now. Look at the numbers as just a sophomore that Moy has put up this season.
And most impressive thing about this sophomore campaign for Bryce Moy is not only the 7 rushing touchdowns, the 18 passing touchdowns, but the limited mistakes. Only 1 interception on the year. So he's wise beyond his years.
He'll hand off on first down. Kevin Gum out towards midfield. Let's meet the starters offensively for Monsignor Farrell. In addition to Moy and Gum, you've got Houston, Braxton Moy, and Tate at tight end. It's Fahim. Up front, Della Ragione, Spatola, Lombardi, Abushi, and Costello. Another run, and that one right up the middle. Let's meet the starting defense for Iona Prep. Up front, 3-man front of Farrell, Morrison, and Trujillo. Your linebackers are Reeves, Presley, Camacho, and Simmons. In the secondary, at the corner positions, it is Lewis and Materia. And at the safety positions, Poole and Sangare. 3rd and 1 for Monsignor Farrell. And the Lions will move the chains back to Kevin Gum. And the senior delivers.
Yeah, right there. That's just a nice kind of kick-out block. And Gum follows it to move the chains.
Captain, a workhorse. Gum on the season, 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. He will motion Houston, but we will have a penalty flag. And this is a false start on the offense. There's a look at our referee for today's game. Mr. Santiago, John Santiago. First pass from Moy, and it is perfect. And look at the response by Monsignor Farrell, Alex Houston. Touchdown, Farrell.
What a response from the Lions right here. Alex Houston is just going to get a ton of open space down the sideline. Look like that Gales defense just loses him. Bite on that play fake and a strike delivered by Bryce Moore exactly where it needs to be. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered for Monsignor Farrell. Another big statement in response to that opening drive from Iona.
But the point after, that was blocked by Iona. And how many times, Pat Godfrey, do we see PATs that go awry end up becoming costly for one team or another? But what a start. Both teams electric in their first drives.
Yeah, it's a huge response. Block PAT could wind up being big. You don't have to tell that to Monsignor Farrell. In their regular season matchup against St. Anthony's, they wound up winning by 1 point as a result of a blocked PAT against the Friars. So they're going to hope that doesn't come back to bite them. But nonetheless, really encouraging opening possession for each of these offenses. Now the onus is shifted onto the defenses for a response, as it's been like a hot knife through butter watching both of these play callers run the show.
One of the questions we asked these two head coaches heading into this one was, what is that final message before kickoff? What are the words that you're going to impart onto your team? And for Rocco Del Priore, the Farrell coach, he said, we got here with a 4-letter word, and we're going to finish with a 4-letter word, which is love. As that kick fights its way through, picked up at the 11-yard line, and a short return. But they got here, he said, with love. Love for Farrell, love for one another. It has been their message all year. And on the other side for Iona, Spagnola said, our message before is, listen, guys, keep your composure. Stay disciplined. Do what you're coached to do. Stay locked in. Do not get emotional. Do not let the crowd impact the game. And right in front of us, I don't know what you'd put percentage-wise, but there's a very large Monsignor Farrell contingent behind their bench rooting on their Lions.
Tough for Iona not to get too emotional. Obviously, revenge is at the forefront of their mind, but you got to play your game out here.
And part of that game is the run game and a big run up the middle. Chase Reeves, the sophomore, he's probably that next guy after Crew Davis graduates. That's a big first carry in the championship game for him to get a first down.
Yeah, Reeves comes into this game with only 16 carries on the year, but with those carries, averaging over 12 yards per touch. Just goes to show the host of different playmakers that you have up your sleeve if you're Iona.
Guzman flushed out. He'll tuck it and run. Angles towards that first down marker, and he is out of bounds. So tremendously athletic is the senior from Ossining.
Yeah, going to be so important for Farrell to keep contained. That's one of our keys to the game right there. Just kind of get washed upfield as a defensive line. And when Julian Guzman sees an opening, he's going to take it and make you pay. It's the reason this guy has over 600 yards on the ground going into this game.
An injury timeout for Monsignor Farrell. This AAA division, it is Iona's 5th straight trip, but when you look at the championship history, at least the recent history in this AAA, Iona, they are the reigning champions, and you see a nice mixture there, right? Iona also beating Farrell the last time these two teams met. That was at Mitchell Athletic Complex out of COVID, and before that, you had Hayes winning a couple, St. Anthony's winning as well.
There's been a nice mix in the AAA. Really, the one team that struggled to get to the top has been Monsignor Farrell. It's been since 2000 since they won the AAA division. They've never gone down, but they're a team that they feel like should be in championship contention every year. And just year 4 under Rocco Del Priore, they're knocking on that. And really, a huge opportunity to stamp their place in Monsignor Farrell history out here tonight.
Rocco Del Priore as a player, as an undersized pit bull of a nose guard, had a couple of chances, lost in championship games in back-to-back years to St. Anthony's. There is Guzman around again, tries to turn the corner, but he's forced out at the 45, make it the 46-yard line. That was right the first time, 45-yard line. Trips right for the Gales. This an Iona Prep team that has averaged 41.3 points per game. Fake handoff. Guzman slings it over the middle, right through a window to Eric Perillo. That hole was not very big, but Perillo was there to make the catch.
Yeah, right here, Guzman, the Maryland baseball commit, throws an absolute dime through a very tight window. If that ball's off by just a hair, that could have been intercepted. Instead, it's another first down into the hands of Eric Perillo, the senior from Harrison.
Well, Perillo might like playing on this field, right? He's got some Patriot interest, some NESCAC interest. So 1st and 10 for the Gales. Back to Reeves, tries to cut it inside. And running inside of this Farrell defense, not the easiest thing to do.
You're right there, runs into big Joe Vitale, the 220-pound senior nose tackle.
That's a guy who started the year at right guard, now at nose as well, and he got that 330-pound bench, short, stocky, motor kid who loves Farrell football. Crew options out now to the running back position. Fake to him. It's Guzman again. Angle is run, turning. And what a great job. That's football IQ that you want from your quarterback.
If that's available, he's just going to take that all day long. Those runs really get opened up by the receiving core here at Iona Prep that does such a good job blocking out on the edge. Sets up a 3rd and manageable. And got to like your chances here if you're a Gales fan with number 5, Crew Davis in the backfield.
Yeah, so multiple, this Iona Prep team. Dual threat at quarterback. Crew Davis is a dual threat as well with 24 receptions for 345 yards and 3 touchdowns as well. They go to Davis. He's met at the line, and now it's about that push.
Looks like he's just short.
I was going to say, good job by the officials there, just making sure once it seemed like it was stagnant to blow the whistle. And another decision now. I think it's go time, though, for Iona Prep. You do have a good field goal kicker.
That said, Dylan, these are college goalposts, so a little bit of a narrower margin of error in the kicking game out here today. Joe Spagnuolo going to think this one over.
Well, Farrell will take the timeout. We'll take it with them as well. 2:14 left first quarter. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Every day opens a new door to grow, to build relationships. Every moment, a chance to do more. To buy a home, grow a business, start a family. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
Let's see what was dialed up out of that timeout by Joe Spagnuolo. 4th and 1.
Even though we're just in the first quarter, feels like a huge situation in this game.
Crew Davis cuts it outside, back inside Davis. And that's one of the things that makes Crew Davis so special.
Yeah, it's the second time that they've gone to number 5 on a big 4th down situation. Second time in a row that he has delivered and gotten much more than they even needed. That's just some hard-nosed running from number 5, who's going to be going to UNC next year for both football and lacrosse.
Yeah, a little bit bigger this year, more explosion, more twitch to him, a little bit thicker, more definition. Guzman again jumps over his own right tackle. That was Dylan Moulage, the big man, as Guzman had to jump his way to a big run.
Yeah, they draw him outside by motioning Crew Davis, and that opens things up a little bit. Not the best look right there, but nonetheless a healthy gain on first down. Going to set up a second and about 4. And really, as Coach Rocco Del Priore mentioned going into this game, the key on defense was going to be stopping 2 numbers, number 15 and number 5. It's been a healthy dose of each on offense for the Gales.
Guzman finds Sangare, takes a licking, but is pulled down inside the 5. 1st and goal for the Gales.
Sangare is a guy who's mainly known for his talents on the defensive side of the ball, but can also be a nice weapon on offense at that wide receiver position. Comes into this game with offers from the likes of UConn, Temple, BC, Syracuse, and Minnesota. So another blue chipper out here for Iona Prep.
Hand off Davis. Finds a hole. Davis is in the end zone. Touchdown, Iona Prep.
It feels like deja vu out here. Another championship game touchdown for Crew Davis, who's made a living on the weekend going into Thanksgiving in recent years. Does a good job following a host of blockers.
How about Deshaun Harley at right tackle, the junior from Stamford, Connecticut, 54, just swallowing up the would-be tackler. And now it's time for the PAT. Nico Diamandis on to kick. You see Wells, your snapper, and Cassidy to hold. The kick is up, and it is good. Iona Prep takes a 14-6 lead. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship game right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
What's up, this is Sean Lights Out Merriman, former Charger and Bill, and you're watching Varsity Media. What's up, this is Sean Lights Out Merriman, former Charger and Bill, and you're watching.
Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Back at Rose Hill. I almost said Rose Hill Gymnasium, so used to being out here. It's the Rose Hill campus, which has been such a great venue, really Fordham University in general, for the biggest of games in the Catholic High School Football League, but also in the Basketball League. Right behind us, the oldest gymnasium in America. And another angled kick fielded at the 30.
That was Braxton Moy right there. Trying to do a little Reggie Bush action, but he stepped out of bounds. And once again, going to be really good field position for Bryce Moy and company on offense for Monsignor Farrell.
Del Priori. He's got Joseph Mariconda there as his OC. Greg Rocco, the former Moore and McKee Staten Island Tech coach. He is his DC.
Monsignor Farrell been such an impressive program this year, the way they play together, been able to respond to adversity. Once again, going to be asked to respond to a big score from the Iona side.
A handoff up the middle. That is Gum again, the senior.
Kevin Gum, a guy. Huge game last week. He blocked a punt for a touchdown in the semifinal against Chaminade. Does so much on the ground with his legs, almost 1,300 yards in the season.
And the first quarter comes to an end, and the Gales. This is a short business trip from New Rochelle, but Crew Davis and Julian Guzman, they know how much this means to them and their school as Guzman finds the end zone. Hey, be quiet, Monsignor Farrell. I'm scoring touchdowns. It's the AAA championship game right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. I know they are. So a quick change of fields for Monsignor Farrell and Iona Prep. The chain crew now ready. And that's what you love about these games, right? We're not going to the sideline. We're staying on the field, switching sides. Let's play football.
No time for commercial breaks when you got the biggest matchup of the year, what we've all been waiting for since August.
2nd and 9. Moy dumps it out.
It's a short completion right there to Matthew Tristano, senior wide receiver from Staten Island. He's going to set up a 3rd and about 7 right here for Monsignor Farrell.
Moy under pressure. Comes this side and bobbling it before it's ultimately dropped. That was his brother Braxton Moy, but good coverage on the play by Lamar Lewis.
Yeah, really good job by Lewis out there on an island against Moy. He's a 6'3" corner in the build of Richard Sherman, who makes a trip from Stamford, Connecticut every day to New Rochelle. Just a testament to the kind of program that Joe Spagnolo has built at Iona Prep. Got kids coming from other states to play for the Gales.
Nearly blocked, fielded by Perillo. Tries to angle his run up the sideline, cuts it back towards us. And a good tackle applied there as Iona Prep's offense back onto the field.
This is going to be a huge drive right here for the Monsignor Farrell defense. Haven't been able to stop a nosebleed thus far out here at Moglia Stadium. Really going to need to respond if they want to keep this one within striking distance for their offense.
Yeah, on the season, Monsignor Farrell's defense, one of the best around, giving up just 13.8 points per game. So already over that season average. Now Davis options out to the right. Guzman sends one long, looking deep, just past the speedy Eric Perillo.
And as they aired that one out, looked like there was a holding penalty against Iona Prep, so that's going to put that behind the sticks early on in this drive.
John Santiago, our referee, makes that signal.
Nonetheless, so impressive seeing that arm shown off of Julian Guzman just beyond the outstretched hands of Eric Perillo, but that one traveled close to 70 yards in the air.
Guzman wears number 15 for his favorite player, Patrick Mahomes. And he shares, I think, a lot of qualities, right, with the Chiefs QB.
Guzman probably having a better season than Patrick Mahomes this year. Sorry to rub it in, Taylor Swift and Chiefs fans out there.
There's Guzman. You love the physicality, too, by the QB. And right in front of the Farrell bench, his boys make sure to pick him up.
Just so hard to guard against. They do that play action out to Crew Davis, and you obviously have to honor that. But then all of a sudden opens things up for Guzman to pull it himself and make things happen on the ground. So physical.
I think the one thing that, if you're Spagnuolo, you're like, hey, tuck it to the other arm. Right, he kept it in to that one arm, which was dangerously close to getting knocked out. Inside pitch, and that is read well and eaten up by that interior line of Monsignor Farrell.
Yeah, Joe Vitale was all over this one. Does a good job shedding a block and just absolutely nowhere to go for Chase Reeves. So that's going to set up a 3rd and long right here. It's a penalty on the play. It's going to be declined by Monsignor Farrell, so set up a 3rd and 10. And all of a sudden a huge opportunity for this Lions defense to get off the field when they've struggled to find stops on 3rd and 4th down so far.
Yeah, 3rd and 11 for the Gales. This suddenly a big play here from Monsignor Farrell. You mentioned it. Can they get a stop? 5 receivers for Guzman.
If I'm calling this D, you got to keep a spy on number 15. Don't want to let him beat you with your legs right here.
Guzman sends it downfield, looking for Perillo, and that is incomplete.
Yeah, just behind Eric Perillo on the delivery right there. Perillo, such a dependable guy. This does hit his hands, but unable to reel it in. And that's a big stop right there for Monsignor Farrell to see the punt unit come out on the field for Iona Prep.
Libretta deep for Monsignor Farrell. Katsidis to punt for the Gales. This one is a short one that will take a big Farrell bounce onto the Iona Prep side of midfield.
Yeah, Dylan, that punt is only going to net about 18 yards for Iona Prep, so a golden opportunity here for the Monsignor Farrell offense with a short field to try and drive down and tie this one up.
Yeah, the Lions Den over there in Staten Island, one of the best football experiences you can have in the high school level. Just a wild atmosphere there. And a good traveling contingent from the Lions Den, making Muglia Stadium feel a lot like the Lions Den.
You know, Dylan, I about 24 hours ago was waiting in the airport in Rome, flying back for this one, and I got home. I thought I'd fall right asleep, but I couldn't sleep, and you know why? Because I was so excited for this big-time matchup of juggernauts in the AAA division. Well, guess what? I think the Farrell faithful were just as excited about an hour before kickoff, starting "Let's Go Farrell" chants, and we'll see if that energy and emotion translates out onto the field for the Lions.
Hand off to Gum, tries to go up the middle, but he is met there with resistance. Brady Morrison.
Yeah, Gum just has nowhere to go. Morrison does a good job crashing in there and blowing things up from that nose tackle position. He's another Connecticut guy who makes a trip across state lines every day to go to school in New Rochelle, 6'2", 270. Just another one of those studs on the D line for Iona Prep.
That guy who benches 225 like 30 times straight out of central casting. Has Moy in motion. Look at the misdirection here. It's Houston turning the corner. Alex Houston. A nice run on second down.
Gotta like the creative play call coming from Monsignor Farrell. Right there, they're gonna fake it to Kevin Gum and just do the end around to Houston, who's got a whole host of blockers out on the edge doing a good job.
On Staten Island, the big award, like the Heisman, if you will, it's the Fugazi Award, and Houston was the Farrell nominee for that award a year ago.
So there's a stop on third down for Iona Prep. I'd expect to see Rocco Del Priore leave his offense out on the field with a 4th and 1 from about the 39-yard line. You just mentioned how big that third down was in the previous drive for Iona Prep. Now a huge 4th down situation for the Lions offense trying to strike back.
Let's see. Moy in shotgun. Hands off, they go to Gum. Tries to go up the middle, but it looks like he's stopped. Was it Morrison again?
Looked like Austin Farrell was in on that one alongside Josh Simmons, our player to watch. And you're right, Brady Morrison in there as well, using every bit of that strength. Big boy says, get off of me. And that's going to be a fresh set of downs for the Iona Prep offense.
It's interesting, Pat. Both teams come in with identical 9-1 records, but not an identical schedule, right? Iona Prep, because of being the defending champion, they have played a very, very difficult, heavily AAA schedule, right? They play all the big boys. They played Paramus Catholic, beating them on the road.
Paramus, a team that beat Del Barton, who was able to beat Monsignor Farrell 35-0, but just goes to show that transitive property doesn't apply. You got to go out there and win head-to-head.
And Farrell had not played as many AAA teams, and it was part of what made scouting Farrell so difficult, right? Because it's a lot of times you do that common opponent. All right, well, we know what these guys do, but it was hard to get something out of that Del Barton game because of how different and all the wacky looks that Del Barton gives you. Guzman, quick out. Spinning, turning, Sangare, first down, Iona.
Mamadi just has such good balance out there on the edge. What a nice weapon to be able to turn to. Obviously, they don't want to get him every snap on offense because he's also playing on the defensive side of the ball, but they can spell him in there at that receiver position and get a lot of value out of number 9.
Guzman fakes the pitch, looks for blockers, cuts it around the outside, runs into that Farrell bench.
And right there at the end of this run, here, let's watch this. The fake pitch. Crew Davis makes the defense have to play him honestly. And then Guzman just kind of cuts seamlessly out to the sideline, finishes off by blowing a little bit of a kiss to Monsignor Farrell's student section.
There is Davis out of the backfield. He's got a hole and it uses it. It explodes himself out to the 31-yard line, and another Iona Prep first down.
Yeah, the key to this one is going to be some really good blocking from his receivers out there on the edge. You see Perillo and Wolf getting active, opening things up for Crew Davis. And another easy first down for the Iona offense.
Eric Camacho Jr. coming back, replacing Gallo at that tight ends position. Hand off up the middle. Chase Reeves, bounce off one tackler, lays on top of about 3 others. Takes a nap.
One thing I'm noticing here early is just very little push from the Monsignor Farrell defensive line. Tons of time for this play to set up for Chase Reeves. Follows a couple good blocks from Anthony DiNapoli and Deshaun Harley there on that right side.
That bed was a little bit bumpy there for Chase Reeves. Second and manageable. Guzman slings it over the middle. Good for another Iona Prep first down. Connects with Joe Wolf.
And this ball is so well placed. Guzman sees Master Julio close it in, so throws it to the outside number of his target, Joe Wolf.
Wolf, an outstanding basketball player as well. I'll have to wait a little bit longer to get him on the court.
A lot of size at that receiver position. Joe Wolf, 6'3", 185 pounds. Sangare at 6'1", 200.
Iona Prep back in the red zone. And a little bit too much motion, it looks like, there on offense, as our referee, John Santiago, calls this one against the Gales.
So the last time that Monsignor Farrell was able to get off the field, it was in large part due to an Iona Prep penalty that put them behind the sticks. We'll see if they're able to capitalize on the misstep by Iona right here when they could really use a stop. Last thing you want is to fall down by 2 scores here in this second quarter.
Davis options back at running back, but now only has a blocker. Penalty coming up. This will be a block in the back as Guzman airs it out back of the end zone. And actually, they'll call it a hold on the offense. I believe it's going against Anthony DiNapoli, who's the leader, 3-year starter on that O-line.
Yeah, DiNapoli, a guy who Coach Spagnolo said might be the best lineman in the entire Catholic High School Football League there. Grabs a little bit too much, and things going in the wrong direction for the Iona Prep offense.
Now they are backed up to the 32-yard line. They've got to get to the 7-yard line to get a first down. So the Farrell Nation in front of us getting loud.
Joe Spagnolo wanted his team to drown out the crowd. Maybe a factor.
Guzman, what a pass in front, looking for Wolf, but an even better play made defensively.
That was David Leverock right here. The ball hawk free safety over the middle, who's just going to draw this one loose. Once again, the play action. A nice delivery from Guzman. But Leverock gets in there, and also, forgive me, that was Anthony Vento, another junior playing that free safety spot for Monsignor Farrell. But a huge stop there on first down.
So second and long here. Inside handoff. Davis, stiff arm. Davis on his feet. Davis forced out. Just inside, looks like that first down marker. We're a little bit shy, it would appear, of it.
So Iona Prep behind the sticks, but that's why you got Crew Davis right here. The nice stiff arm and running down the sideline. He's going to take a little bit of a lick right there from Charlie Costanzo, but it doesn't matter. He's got a first down.
Well, they might have to measure this. And yeah, now I think they're going to give it a first down. You were right. So it's a first and goal for the Gales.
It's got to be so frustrating for a defense. You got them backed up into 2nd and 25. Give up a 25-yard gain right there. You got Iona Prep right back on schedule.
Reeves is motion. There is Davis. Upended. Ball hits the turf. And I think Iona has recovered.
It's a fortunate bounce right there for Iona. I'm sure Monsignor Farrell would love nothing more than a turnover in that situation.
I think it was even Reeves who
Yeah,
fell on it.
Crew Davis gets hit by Charlie Costanzo for the second straight play, which jars that ball loose, but Iona Prep able to jump on it.
2nd and goal from the 2. And it's Guzman. The play looked like it might have been broken up, but maybe that was the plan all along as Guzman gets into the end zone for another Iona Prep touchdown.
Yeah, Guzman's able to make something out of a little bit of nothing. Broken play. Let's see what we can get here. And number 15 just churns his leg. Able to get in there for the second score of the day. It's going to be Guzman's 11th rushing touchdown on the season.
And Brennan Presley, it looked like he would be the guy rushing the football. Instead was the lead blocker for Guzman. Diamandis on for the PAT. Cassidy to hold. That kick is up, and it is good. 21-6 the lead for Iona. We will now take a break here. It's the Catholic AAA Championship game on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium here on the campus of Fordham University. Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, our entire Varsity Media crew. It's the Catholic AAA Championship game, and it's Iona Prep that has opened up a 21-6 lead on Monsignor Farrell. Diamandis again will look to go short. Fielded by the up man at the 24-yard line. Nice looking return there by Braxton Moy.
I'd say if you're going to kick it short, kicking it to number 11 is not the right recipe. He's a guy who can make things happen. And yet again, Monsignor Farrell is going to have some really good field position to start off this drive.
One thing I love about when we get these broadcasts going, you and I, and you get to check in from the viewers and a lot of the coaches, right? Mark DiCristoforo checked in the AA1 championship, right? Coach over at St. Peter's. Pat Massaroni, even the Stepanak basketball coach, watching this one from his palatial estate.
Well, Dylan, I tell you, if you're not tuned into the Varsity Media Sports Network right now, you're probably not a fan of New York high school football.
Houston was in motion. Here comes Moy. Pressure comes and tried to find Ryan Tate, but good pressure applied there by Willie Reeves.
Yeah, right there, the junior linebacker from New York City does a good job just getting up in his face. He was a guy who was Iona Prep's best player on the JV last year, has made a big step this year onto varsity and done a really good job all year long.
So 2nd and 10 now for the Lions, as we're inside the final 3 minutes of the first half. Stick around at halftime. We'll have, I guess, what we've kind of called now the Catholic League State of the Union from the Catholic League president, Chris Hardett. Look at Moy's arm, but that is intercepted.
Xander Poole, how about that right there? The junior from Chappaqua, New York, does a great job, and just a bit of a mistake right here from Bryce Moy. He's going to throw this off the back of his foot into double coverage. And that's just anybody's ball. Xander Poole says, I'll take that, and gives another opportunity to his offense.
On one side, he shows off his arm strength, but on the other side, it's that football IQ where you can't throw into a double team like Iona has there in that situation. and Poole picks him off.
And that's only Bryce Moy's second interception on the year, so he's been a guy who's been very careful with the ball all season long, maybe starting to press a little bit as he feels the pressure mounting, down 2 scores.
How huge would this be now for Iona Prep, right? You do have a long field to go in 2 minutes and 44 seconds. You do have all 3 timeouts, but if you can punch one in here before halftime, that would be massive in this one. They go back to the run attack, back to Crew Davis, and Davis just trying to shed tacklers, like, get off me, bro.
Yeah, like Crew Davis has done all year long. He's picking up yards at just about 7-8 a clip right here, making it look easy. And that's going to take about 3 Farrell defenders to ultimately get him down. But yeah, Dylan, as you mentioned, of the utmost importance for the Monsignor Farrell defense to try and get a stop here. Remember, you do get the ball to start off that second half, but you do not want to go down by 3 scores into halftime.
2nd and 2, quick out. It is Davis along that Iona Prep sideline. Takes a shoulder barge, and he'll take a first down as well.
Yeah, Crew Davis is the guy who runs the contact. Does a really good job in the passing game out here, just following those blocks of Wolf, and then a great one from Perillo as well. It's been a nice new wrinkle to Crew Davis's game as he's developed physically, just really looks for contact now versus in the early years of his career in Iona, a little bit more of a finesse player.
There he is again, Davis. Tries to cut in inside of a tackler, and then finally a host of Lions pulls him down. And although Leverock didn't get the tackle there, Pat, it was him standing strong where he was that then allowed the rest of his guys to come up and make that tackle. There's an injured Lion down on the field, which is why we have this official's timeout with 1:28 left in the first half.
Yeah, look like that's Michael Insalaco, senior linebacker for Monsignor Farrell, down on the play. But you're 100% right. When you're trying to bring down Crew Davis, you need a bunch of guys flying to the ball. It needs to be a united effort. And a much-needed breather right here for the Farrell defense as they hope to compose themselves, figure out how they're going to get off the field and limit the damage. A defense that only let up 7 points the last time these two teams met in the first half.
And that was a game where Monsignor Farrell, they raced out to a 21-7 lead. It looked like they were fully under control, and even Rocco Del Priori said we kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit, allowed Julian Guzman to do special things, and he got his guys back into that game.
Coach Del Priori hoping that the inverse works out this time around. His team's fallen down by 15 here in this first half, but when there's such a thin margin for error between these two teams, anything can happen, but it all starts with a stop here before halftime.
Guzman, plenty of options for him. He goes back to Crew Davis. And we have a flag as well behind the play.
Yeah, it looked like a late hit right here by Kevin Gum, who's playing a little bit of linebacker, is featured as the running back on offense, and he's just going to get to Julian Guzman late. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty going in favor of Iona Prep.
Control your emotions is a theme for both of these coming in. It was interesting, though, it's especially the theme for Spags in our conversation, said his guys are so amped up this week, you know, looking to avenge that regular season loss. He actually was trying to dial that down a little bit this week.
Yeah, he said his guys were pretty much willing to run through a wall. They wanted nothing more than their chance at revenge against Farrell.
Guzman over the middle, that's picked off! A deflected pass, and there's Anthony Vento again.
The junior comes up with a huge pick right here for Monsignor Farrell. Exactly what the doctor ordered. You're going to see this pass get deflected off the hands of Eric Perillo into the arms of Anthony Vento. That's going the other way, and all of a sudden, with 1:13 left, a couple timeouts left, there's an opportunity for a huge shift in momentum as the Farrell offense comes out onto the field.
Vento's second interception, and there's a flag that came after the play, and that's going against Farrell. Self-inflicted wounds. So now they've got to go 80 yards in a minute 13.
Yeah, Dylan, that's a huge mistake right there. Last week, Monsignor Farrell had some sloppy penalties early as well. They had a Braxton Moy spike after a touchdown that cost them 15 yards on a kickoff. But in this situation, playing from down, the last thing you want to do is be giving away yardage.
Here's Braxton Moy. A gain of about 5 on first down as we're approaching the final minute of this first half. There are still 2 timeouts remaining for the Lions.
Burning a lot of time right here.
Moy sidearms it, sideline. That's Houston who gets out of bounds, and he'll move the chains.
With only 43 seconds left, though, still got to go 68 yards to find the end zone. So a lot of work to get done, and quickly they want to bring this one into a 2-score game.
Another quick out. This one to Braxton Moy. He's out of the bounds at the 40.
Bryce Moy doing a good job just working that sideline.
But I don't know if you can nickel and dime this all the way to the end zone.
No, definitely. You're going to need a big chunk of yardage at some point, which is why you got those 2 timeouts in your back pocket.
And Moy goes for that big hitter, trying to go far side to Gianni Pasqualoni, and just over his head.
Yeah, it's a rare miss by Bryce Moy. Pasqualone had a step on the defender and could have made that a huge gain, but off target, and that's going to set up a 3rd and about 2.
To your point, Moy came into this game with a 74.5 completion rate on the season. That is outrageous, especially for a sophomore.
Yeah, there's a Drew Brees style numbers right there.
Moy, ooh, that was dangerous. Took a deflection. You had a couple of, you had Sangare there for Iona, a couple guys looking to get that ball back.
Yeah, this is dangerous. Just a little bit off target as he throws off of his back foot. That one just kind of sails on him a little bit. Now all of a sudden got the punt unit out on the field.
Went off of Libretta's hands. And yeah, the punt unit is on Burrows. It's a punt. Before he does, we'll get a timeout. Iona Prep.
Timeout, Iona Prep.
Eric Perillo. With 30 seconds left and still a timeout, the way that Iona Prep has moved the football, this could be a big punt right here to try and shift the field. You do not want to give a short field to Julian Guzman the chance to go score again.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Now booking for the winter season. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net for more information.
ISO video is not even cool for recruiting purposes, but just for the memory bank. Farrell showing the fake. Looks like he's trying to draw somebody off right here.
High snap. Burrows pulls it down. Nearly blocked. Perillo fields it, ducks under the tackle, but he was in fact pulled down by Braxton Moy. Moy making a lot of plays on specials.
There's a really nice job by that punting unit from Monsignor Farrell, being able to flip the field. And now all of a sudden, if you're Coach Joe Spagnuolo, most likely going to be happy to take a knee, go into halftime with your 15-point lead, knowing that your team's playing some really good football out here.
That's what it would appear they are doing here. Either that or they're looking like they're going to be single wing like Xavier was earlier, but you're right, yes, they do take a knee. And the Gales will head into halftime with a 21-6 lead. Well, Crew Davis is special, but so is Julian Guzman. As Guzman gets in behind the big boys, gets into the end zone. A couple of rushing touchdowns for the Maryland baseball commit. And Iona Prep has a 21-6 lead here at halftime. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
What's up? This is Sean Lights Out Merriman, former Charger and Bill, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email Ben at varsitymedia.net. You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athlete's key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
And here he comes again, off the backboard! Are you serious?
Daly tries another three. That one's good. One from the left corner, now from the right. Daly's on fire with 10 points in the opening quarter.
Loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the third quarter.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
If you're looking to optimize your sporting event, look no further than Varsity Media's coverage. Since working with them over the course of the past 4 years through the Elite 5 New York City Football Showcase, their coverage has helped take us to the top.
Varsity Media does an unbelievable job in terms of the broadcast, backgrounds on kids, do a great job of exposure from top to bottom. I couldn't really say anything negative. It's been a great couple of years that we've been working together, and it's just fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, the fact that you guys are here has helped grow it, really. I mean, Varsity Media's been a good partner with us now for the last couple of years. That brings this game to a much broader audience.
The level of detail and that you go to, I mean, obviously the announcers, the camera angles, the slow motions, I mean, you feel like it's being covered by, ESPN.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media. high school sports fans. Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
What's up, it's Sean Lights Out Murray.
We welcome you inside the booth here at Fordham University. Dylan Butler alongside the president of the Catholic High School Football League, Chris Hardett. And Chris, but I like this kind of synergy we have here because we open the season a lot of times together, right? And we also close, so we bookend the season here with a lot of football in between. But we are so thankful that you're able to join us here halftime of the AAA, which has also become a bit of a tradition for us and a chance for you to kind of look back not only at today's festivities, but the season as a whole here in the Catholic High School Football League. I feel like it's a year of a lot of growth for a lot of programs that maybe have struggled. If they haven't won a championship, right, they're pushing their way back up, and very competitive football, I think, across all three levels.
You know what, Dylan, we can't be happier with this system that we have in place. That's now, you know, for the Catholic High School Football League, it's probably a record that we've had the same system in place for almost 10 years now. And it's everybody knows what the system is. They know how it works. They know how our PowerPoints work and how the divisions work. We give teams some flexibility to move up and down when we have to. And you're right. The whole goal is to help as many programs in the league be somewhat successful, as successful as they can be. That's what we're trying to do, and it's a never-ending battle to do it. But we keep trying, and we'll keep trying to get it 100% right. But it's really been a really good thing for us.
One thing that I like too that you've done, and you've kind of gone away from the mold. Off camera, we were just talking about those really long triple header days that we'd have at Mitchell Athletic Complex, which is a great host for the Catholic High School Football League. But these last couple of years, you guys have also shown flexibility in that. Last year was an all Staten Island final in AA1. You had that one on Staten Island, which was an incredible atmosphere, right, for Peters and for St. Joe's C. And this year, you've got two teams that are not Long Island based or city based, and you have these two teams playing up here to a great crowd at Fordham, but you still had Mitchell as a location for Holy Cross and Zavarian. So tough for you. You're not able to be in two places at the same time, as talented as you are. But I think it's great to be able to utilize both facilities or even multiple facilities based on the matchup.
Well, it drives Ben and you guys crazy because he's asking me 3 weeks ago about where the championships are going to be. And honestly, last Saturday, just based on going to a bunch of games, a lot of things could have happened last week, right? We're in the semifinals of the AA. We're very up in the air.
Yeah.
It could have been two Thanksgiving Day teams. They would have played the championship game on Thanksgiving, or we could have had two Staten Island teams again, and we probably would have been at Monsignor Farrell on Friday night and had two games here. So that's, again, part of our league, part of the beauty of our league, and part of the frustration of our league is not being able to, or to have the flexibility to do, because we have so many teams in so many different areas. 23 schools from Somers, New York, to West Islip, right? It's like a giant, I always say it's like a giant L, right? And so we have to be flexible because it's the benefit of the kids, the benefit of all the programs, benefit of our parents, to be in a place where they can be most accessible, right? So it works out perfectly.
And Fordham University, we see it, of course, on the basketball side of things, just across the street here at Rose Hill Gymnasium. It's a great venue, as Paul Gavarian, and they always have the Catholic Basketball Championships. You could set your clock to that second Sunday in March at 3 o'clock for the championship game there. And this has become a terrific venue, I think, as well for the Catholic High School Football League. It's a great field, great facilities. The backdrop of a scenic campus in the fall, it's ideal.
You know what? A shout out to everybody at Fordham for all the help they've given us, and they've been unbelievably cooperative. I think they have the water polo conference championships. They're number 5 in the nation or something, and it's a big event for them. And they still were able to kind of squeeze us in. And we came here during the week for a site visit just to go over all the particulars, and they were very flexible with us. And the shout out to those guys for being a friend of the league. Really, they've been great.
So what is this? I've been to a bunch of Catholic championships. I cannot Trump you. This is what, 37 now?
This is 37 consecutive.
Consecutive.
Yep.
In a row.
37 consecutive championship Saturdays.
And it's also come on anniversary weekend
Yes,
as well for you.
my wife, Mary Pat, thank you very much. It's happy anniversary to us today. And usually about every 4 or 5 years it falls on my anniversary, so she's a saint.
Why didn't she consult us? Because we would have told you, bring Mary Pat here. Arthur Avenue is right here. A terrific dinner is down the street.
I'm
guys.
going to give a shout out. You know Queens, right? I'm going to the Parkside tonight, so that's equal. It's pretty close to Arthur Avenue.
Fair.
So.
That is fair. That's fair. You got to pass there. Yeah. But Chris, we're so happy to have this ability to bring these games. I said it to Pat before. You know, I'm a product of the Catholic League, and I find this opportunity to be an honor. And I'm so glad to be able to bring the game here to the viewers, and thankful that you're able to help us make that possible.
Right, and it's an honor to me to be the president of this league. It really is, and the same way as you, I grew up in the league, so it's been a long, long time, and I appreciate all you guys have brought to the table over the last 10 or so years, right? I appreciate all you guys have done to help publicize our league.
All right, that's Chris Hardett giving you the state of the league. And also some good restaurant recommendations as well. Second half when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
back at Fordham University, second half about to begin. Pat, let's rip through some of those first half highlights.
Yeah, it was a big first half for Iona Prep. They came out firing on all cylinders on the offensive side of the ball. We saw Julian Guzman really show off what he's able to do with those legs. Right here, you're going to see a quick play action to Crew Davis. Guzman pulls it for the run pass option. Nothing open downfield, and he's just going to skirt in to go up 7-0 on that opening possession for Iona Prep. And we're going to have to skip the rest of those highlights.
Well, listen, Guzman ran in again, Davis as well. The running attack has been lethal for Iona Prep in the first half, but now it's always that interesting time, right, Pat, where we find out the adjustments from the coaches and what changes are made. And
it feels like it could really go either way right here. If Farrell's able to answer to open up this half, we could have a barn burner on our hands. And watch out right here, big-time return from Gianni Pasqualone. And that's the exact injection of energy that Monsignor Farrell needed to get things going here in this third quarter.
And you could hear the reaction from Farrell Nation. And what was most impressive, Pat, is this was Pasqualone untouched up the sideline.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier than that. We know that Gianni Pasqualone can apply the jets when he gets some space. But that's exactly what you needed right there for Monsignor Farrell, a short field for Bryce Moy and company. Try and march down.
Hand off to Gum. Looked like he blew the tire before the tackle was applied.
Kevin Gum yet to really get going on the ground. As we mentioned, he's been such a lethal rusher all year long. Around 1,300 yards on the season, alongside 15 touchdowns on the ground. But number 0 just kind of struggling to make his mark here in the early goings.
Moy in the air, trying to turn and rally back for that football was Alex Houston for that incomplete pass.
And just another uncharacteristic errant throw from Bryce Moy. You see Houston had a couple steps right there on Xander Poole, but just unable to connect. And those are the kind of plays that when you look back at the film, you're really going to wish you could have a do-over on.
And what you don't want if you're Farrell is to waste that terrific kick return and not get any points on the board.
And you almost feel like right here you're all right settling for a 6, 7, 8 yard gain on third down, because it's almost certainly 4-down territory in no man's land.
Moy comes this way. That is complete to his brother Braxton. Tried to turn it upfield. What a second effort by Braxton Moy.
And just the timing of this pass is absolutely perfect. Unsurprising to see the twins on the exact same page. Comes back to the ball. And really nice job right there. Breaking a tackle is Braxton Moy and moving the chains exactly when they needed it.
Moy goes to the other side of the field. Trying to turn the corner was Tate, but a very important tackle applied.
Yeah, that was DJ Smith out there, kind of a reserve corner on this Gales defensive unit. Does a good job bringing him down, because if not, it looked like Tate might have been going for 6.
2nd and 3. Jump ball. What a catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Monsignor Farrell. Moy to Moy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is a really nice play call right here by Monsignor Farrell. They're showing run all the way and turn around. The Gales defense is just going to lose Braxton Moy. He's wide open, and even though the throw's a little bit off, he says, brother, I'll pick you up. Braxton Moy reeling it in from his brother Bryce, and that's going to make this a 1-score game pending a PAT.
And here's what's scary for the rest of the Catholic League. These guys are sophomores, so we're going to be calling Moy to Moy for a couple more years now.
Yeah, you know, talk about all the college-bound talent on the side of Iona Prep, but these Moy brothers at 6'2", 200, and 210 respectively both have themselves a bright future and will most likely be playing on Saturdays for a long time.
And now Farrell will try to get that missed PAT back. Houston tries to throw the ball, and that one is incomplete as he tried to find Tate, it looked like.
And Dylan, that's especially costly right there, missing that 2-point conversion, because all of a sudden you're still down by 2 scores.
Well, and now it feels like you're chasing it the rest of the game.
Without a doubt. If it were me, I probably would have gone for just the standard 1-point PAT, bring this to an 8-point game, and know that a touchdown and 2-point conversion ties it all up, but instead you're down 9 and still kind of trying to claw back.
But your glass half full for Farrell there as you come out of halftime and you get on the scoreboard, which is, yes, you maybe leave points on the board there, but you do get 6, which were vitally important to come out of the halftime with.
Exactly. After that first possession where they scored really quickly on the long passing touchdown to Houston, there's really nothing going offensively for Monsignor Farrell. So seeing them kind of turn the page here in this third quarter is certainly an encouraging sign. The question becomes, defensively, can you get the stops that you need in order to bring this one back to a 1-score game?
It's like materia is deep. But look at this, the onside kick. And it is fielded by Iona Prep. Joe Wolf.
Yeah, right here, you're going to see the little surprise onside come from Monsignor Farrell. Looked like their kicker could have had a chance at that one, but instead it's going to set up some really good field position for Julian Guzman, Crew Davis and company to respond to that opening touchdown from Monsignor Farrell.
Iona's first play from scrimmage second half. Why not go back to Crew Davis?
And
He gets the first down, but he's not satisfied with just that, man.
Done with the way that Crew Davis has been running the ball, makes you question why Iona Prep would ever turn to the passing game. Number 5 has just been getting 10, 15 yards a clip on every single touch, as he's done for most of this year, but a couple of broken tackles, a big stiff arm, and boom, another first down.
To your point, Pat, I don't think there's been one play in this game that he's been hit for a loss. Davis came into this game with 130 carries for over 1,000 yards. The pitch inside. And there goes Chase Reeves.
Yeah, I like this. A little flip up the middle as everyone's keying on the outside. Reeves does a good job following the blocks of Anthony DiNapoli and Deshaun Harley.
Yeah, some moving parts on that offensive line, right? When we saw these guys early in the season, as now it looks like there's an injured Farrell player, that Iona Prep offensive line, Dylan Moulage was a guy who came in as a sub, right? But it's hard to keep a guy of his size off the field, so he's now slotted himself to a starting position. DiNapoli has slid over as well, and Harley has joined that unit from what we saw early on the season for Iona Prep.
Yeah, what a nice luxury as a high school team to have a reserve offensive lineman, Dylan Moulage, starting off the season, who's 6'8", 340 pounds. And oh yeah, he's got a Syracuse offer, but just look at the size across that line, 340, 290, 290, 275, and 280. It's really a statement when you got a guy like Anthony DiNapoli at 6'4", 275, who's your lightest offensive lineman.
2nd and 1 for the Gales. It is Guzman calling his own number. And he will get the first down for the Gales. But there is a flag on the play. And this will be an offensive holding penalty, our referee, John Santiago, has indicated.
It looks like this one's going up on Deshaun Harley.
It would be right after we tout that offensive line that they called for an offensive holding penalty.
But Dylan, really can't overstate how well this O-line has played all year long. Today we've seen a couple of penalties against them, but outside of that, really a dominant performance. It all starts with C.J. Maspeth, the senior, who's 6 foot, 300 pounds. I saw him get his first D1 offer at our Elite 5 football showcase in Brooklyn this summer from Wagner. And he's a guy as a senior who does such a good job on the inside, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Guzman airs it out, nearly intercepted.
That's Michael Libretta right there, the junior, who does a great job reading the eyes of Julian Guzman. He's staring in one direction the whole way, and number 84 almost picks that one off. Great jump on the ball.
I'll tell you, Libretta was always batting that ball down. But if he was going for that catch, he's got a wide open sideline to run up.
So this has really been a pain point for Monsignor Farrell all day long, getting off the field in these 3rd and long situations.
Defense, defense, the chant from the Lions faithful, who have come out in droves on a long trip from Staten Island.
Moglia Stadium literally shaking right now.
Yeah. Timeout called by Farrell. As we mentioned, Pat, these two teams met back in 2021. The site was Mitchell Athletic Complex, and some of those sites here as Farrell and Iona Prep.
You see a Johnny Shepard right there, who's now playing quarterback out at Washington State on the West Coast.
Yeah, big game he had in this one.
This was our first championship game in the booth together.
Aw.
A night I'll never forget. We're now on number 5. Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. But that was just the start of what has become a dynasty under Joe Spagnuolo in New Rochelle.
Yeah, 5th consecutive championship game here this afternoon for the Gales. And that guy, that was his last game as a coordinator. Rocco Del Priori took over for Tony Garofalo after that game. And he's made it part of his mission statement to get Farrell back here, not just today, but to make this an annual occurrence as Guzman tucks it under. Thought about passing it, and he has met.
That's Braxton Moy right there, getting involved on the defensive side of the ball. So it's really been an all-around effort from number 11. So I'm just catch a touchdown on Farrell's previous offensive possession here in the open field. Does a good job with a tall task, bringing down Julian Guzman.
So here we go, 4th and 6 for Iona Prep. Davis is in motion. Guzman, plenty of time. Ducks under, continues to run. Guzman for a first down! Oh, and a flag. And you know, I wondered if this would start to happen here with the officials. And what you hope is that there might have been a conversation first, maybe at halftime or even before the game. But there's been a lot on both sides, to be fair. A lot of motioning after plays. You saw there the point for the first down. There's been the hushing of the crowd. And these are the emotions that come to play. The kissing.
Yeah, and Julian Guzman does such a great job right here. Just breaking free, knowing exactly where the sticks are and picking up that first down. But you'll see a little bit of extracurriculars from both sides right there.
Now that goes right into one of Spagnuolo's keys, right? Keep emotions in check. And look what it does there, right? You did get the first down, but now you're backed up to the 39-yard line. And to be fair, listen, ultimately, right, and this is a good timeout to have for Spagnuolo, these are still high school kids, right? And emotions are there, and they watch the other team celebrate like they've won this championship on their field in the regular season. So it's very difficult to keep emotions in check.
It's fully understandable. You know, these guys were frustrated with what happened in October. It's their first time losing a game against a New York State opponent in 2 years. They lost at home, and Farrell, as you said, celebrated as if they were winning a championship. They made T-shirts up afterwards. So these guys have been primed and ready to go, waiting for this moment since then. And a lot of emotion comes into it, but still got to keep your composure.
And then you see the last 3 years for Iona. We mentioned all the trips here. Last year, not only did they win the league championship, they went on and won up in Buffalo the state championship as well. I love that added component now to the league season. It is going to be downstate this year, so it'll be either Iona or Farrell hosting it, and Crew Davis again. He has been on another level running the football, another first down for the Gales.
Yeah, right here, Crew Davis just makes it look easy. He's untouched for the first 10 yards of that run. And needless to say, if you give number 5 open space, he's going to make you pay every single time. There's a reason why one of the greatest coaches in football history was eager to bring him in for his upcoming recruiting class out of North Carolina.
And look at the physicality as well that he brings, right? You think this game means a lot to Crew Davis, just leaving it all out there here at Fordham.
And that Iona offensive line just really doing a good job on this drive, leaning on that Farrell front.
Red zone for the Gales. Back to Crew Davis. And it looked again, right? It looked like he was pushed backwards, continued his run, and pushed forward for a couple more yards. That's just outstanding.
Yeah, the balance of Crew Davis is just so
Right
impressive.
there.
That cut in between the hole, and yeah, just wriggles out of that would-be tackle from Anthony Vento and keeps going for about another 3. And we're still yet to see Crew Davis get taken down for a loss or even a short gain. Every time number 5 has the ball in his hands, he makes something special happen.
2nd and 3. Guzman, the pitch inside. Reeves, touchdown! Iona Prep.
So once again, they're going to split out Crew Davis to kind of draw that defense outside and do the nice little pitch up the middle to Chase Reeves, the 200-pound sophomore from Manhattan. And he's just going to follow a couple lead blockers and bring the absolute wood to finish off that block and get in there, or finish off that and get in for 6.
Nico Diamandis on for the kick. Cassidy to hold. Wells is your long snapper. And Diamandis drives his kick through the uprights, and Iona Prep has opened up a 28-12 lead. 5:34 left, quarter number 3. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
Welcome back to Moglia Stadium at Jack Coffey Field on the campus of Fordham University. That's a lot of, usually just say you're at one place.
In Rose Hill.
Yeah, in the Bronx, New York.
New York, USA.
Dylan Butler, Pat Godfrey, our entire Varsity Media crew bringing you this, the Catholic AAA Championship. There have been already 2 other champions crowned today over at Mitchell Athletic Complex. Congratulations to the Clippers of Zavarian. They won your AA2 championship. And apparently X is the letter of the day, at least, as Xavier won the AA1 title. And again, short kick. And it will be Farrell here to start this drive from their own 40.
Yeah, Monsignor Farrell making their bid to keep all 3 championship trophies in the 5 boroughs, but they got a tall task trying to claw back from a 16-point deficit right now. More of what they did on that last drive would be a recipe for success.
So Farrell 1st and 10 from their own 40.
Farrell does have to keep in mind, can't be too one-dimensional here.
Well, they'll hand off to their reliable senior running back in Kevin Gum.
Only 2 right there. We've seen Farrell have a lot of success through the air, mainly that Moy-to-Moy connection, but the running game hasn't been what we've gotten used to seeing all year long. Kevin Gum, a guy averaging over 100 yards per game going into this matchup, has been greatly limited by the Iona defense.
Quick out, that's Ryan Tate, turns the corner. His brother Christian, a former captain, now playing at, or had played at Bucknell. And Ryan Tate, the senior, makes a big reception for a first down.
That right there is a great sign from Rocco Del Priore. Seeing brothers both going to Farrell, something he wanted to get going.
A sidearm look to Houston. And Houston dives forward at the 40-yard line.
As we were talking to Rocco Del Priore going into this matchup, he said one frustration he had within the program was seeing guys have their older brothers or their dads go to Farrell and then choose to go to St. Joe's, more Catholic, St. Peter's. And he's done a really good job of making sure that those intergenerational players make sure that they go to Farrell.
Gum up the middle. He loses the football, and the Gales have recovered.
And that
Eric Camacho Jr.
That one's really got to hurt for Kevin Gum. Is able to have a nice little run, which looked like it was going to move the chains, but the ball is going to squeak out there at the very end. He's kind of moving the ball between 2 hands. And the junior middle linebacker, Camacho, is the recipient right there. That's his 2nd fumble recovery on the year. And another opportunity lined up here for Iona Prep to extend this lead.
And Pat, it never looked like he was comfortable with the ball. Like right away, it was like loose, trying to get it back in, get it under control.
It's the little things in these championship games, you know.
And now if you are Iona Prep, yeah, you go to your best, and your best is Crew Davis, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to go for the jugular here and really open up a big lead.
Well, a consistent diet of Crew Davis on offense is their best bet to do so all day long. We've seen number 5 running all over this Lions D. Rarely do you see him go down from one would-be tackler.
It appears the only thing that has stopped him today has been an offensive holding penalty.
Yeah.
And this one will also come back. He's had at least 2 runs of, I want to say, 40-plus yards negated by an offensive holding penalty.
I'm sure Crew Davis would tell you, hey, I guess I'll just go for 200 or 300 if that's what it takes then.
He's got it in his tank, that is for sure.
He's a track champion during the spring and turning this into a track meet out here at Moglia Stadium.
This time you go to Chase Reeves, and Reeves hits the hole hard, continues his run. A nice looking run by the sophomore Chase Reeves. Very instinctive runner. Had a 50-yard touchdown this year against Cardinal Hayes. That low center of gravity hits the hole hard.
And nice to be able to spell Crew Davis, a guy who's built his body up to be able to handle whatever workload is needed of him, but only averaging about a dozen carries a game throughout this season because they're able to spell him with the likes of Reeves.
Another handoff to Davis. He will push forward.
It's going to be close, but looks like he got the first down.
Yeah, that's the motion there by John Santiago to move those chains.
And things just going smoothly on the offensive side of the ball for Iona whenever they're not tripping themselves up with a penalty. Seems like they're getting yardage in chunks.
Here comes Davis. Lowers the shoulder. And again, it feels like he's getting like 7 yards a clip here. At least, right?
At least, yeah. I mean, going into this game, he was averaging almost 8 per carry on the season. And 7 seems to kind of be a minimum for him, always falling forward, making a man miss. We can't we can't act like this is anything new from Crew Davis. Seems like since we've gotten the pleasure of seeing him in a Iona Prep uniform, this has just been business as usual.
Yeah, so impressed with his performance in last year's Catholic League Championship game. We called it at Mitchell Athletic Complex, 43-22 win over St. Anthony's. And that game was kind of billed as like Crew Davis against Gary Merrill, like two very similar kind of players, Lax football, North Carolina, all those sort of.
When you put it that way, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Gary Merrill wound up being Gatorade Player of the Year in New York State last year. Crew Davis making a good argument for his case this year.
Trips left for the Gales. Fake handoff, Guzman. He's not had to run it a lot. Tries to spin, but he's pulled backwards. A good-looking tackle by Charlie Costanzo.
Costanzo has done a good job bringing the wood all day long. He's only a sophomore. One of a bevy of different 10th graders on this Farrell team that have contributed at a high level.
Yeah,
on
I just
varsity.
did a double take when I looked at that again. I'm like, isn't he a senior? And I'm like, oh my goodness, he's a sophomore too. So you got both Moy brothers are sophomores. Costanzo a sophomore. Leverock, Vento, Libretta, juniors.
All these guys making a statement that you can expect to be seeing Farrell here in these AAA championship matchups for years to come.
3rd and 1 for the Gales. There is Davis. Spins, and even there, they do get him at the first point of contact, but still spins and turns and gets a first down.
And as this third quarter winds down, Iona Prep more than happy to just milk the clock with a steady diet of Crew Davis, Julian Guzman, and Chase Reeves.
Well, 3 quarters are in the books, and the Gales trying to go back to back as Catholic League champions. Chase Reeves trying to help get them there. Finds the end zone as it is Iona with a 28-12 lead heading into quarter number 4 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Back here at the beautiful Rose Hill campus of Fordham University, a terrific backdrop for what many have billed as the game of the year. And right now, it is Iona Prep with a 28-12 lead, looking to tack onto that first play of the 4th quarter. Like many others, it's a big carry by Crew Davis.
You know, when it comes down to it in these big-time championship situations, you want to put the ball in the hands of your best player. And Crew Davis is more than happy to shoulder the load, really wearing out this Monsignor Farrell defense each time he touches the ball.
7-yard gain again for Davis. The 2nd and 3 now. Back to Crew. Cuts it upfield. He's already got the first down, and now he'll get the push from the big boys up front.
And it almost feels like if you're Monsignor Farrell, now's the time to just load the box, do everything you can to sell out and stop the run.
And that's the other part of Crew Davis's game too, is he is strong. Like if you're going to try to strip the ball from him, good luck.
Yeah, he's almost got that Christian McCaffrey build, almost the exact same size at 6 foot, 205 pounds, and very well built through the legs. So not the kind of guy that you can expect to get down with an arm tackle. Really takes 3 or 4 guys to bring down number 5.
Guzman airs it out, finds his receiver, and finding the end zone is Sangare.
Mama D Sangare, a big-time DB, making a big-time offensive play right here. As easy a touchdown as he'll score in his career. That's his first touchdown on the year right there.
Good timing.
So, of course, it's as easy as any he'll score this year. But Sangare with a whole host of blockers. See Deshaun Harley out there in front, clearing the way, and he'll walk in for a score to make this 34-12.
Diamandis on for the PAT attempt. And that kick is up, and it is good, and it feels like that's the touchdown that maybe is the hill too far to climb or too high to climb here for Monsignor Farrell, as the Gales early portions of this fourth quarter have opened up a 35-12 lead.
Well, you know, I think Iona Prep came out here wanting to leave, no doubt. They took it personally when they lost at home in the regular season to Monsignor Farrell, but if anything, it was a wake-up call for this team. They had kind of coasted through their New York competition to that point in the season. They get hit in the mouth, and Joe Spagnuolo challenged them, said, hey, guys, how are you going to respond? And I think this is your response out here today, just an absolutely dominant performance through a little over 3 quarters, and it looks like they're going to have an easy way through to the New York State Championship game.
One that they will host as well in New Rochelle. And everybody wants to, you know, not that you necessarily set the goal, especially in the Catholic League, especially with the schedule that Iona plays, but everyone would love to be undefeated, right? But sometimes, as that kick will go out of bounds and the flags will fly, sometimes that one loss does you wonders, right? And to lose the way that they did at home to Farrell with that post-game celebration that we mentioned, that is terrific motivation. Not only if you get a chance to see them again, but from that point of the season, and that's
to get better.
What Spag said. Like that was our line drawn in the sand moment.
Dylan, yeah, I could tell you firsthand, my sophomore year at Clemson, 2016, we got absolutely shocked in early November, losing by 1 point at home to a Pitt team that wound up going 8-4. And a lot of people thought that that was going to be something that derailed our season. But you know what? We rallied around that, got better, and wound up picking up a lot of momentum after that game and went on to win the national championship. So sometimes those little down moments on the season are really a call to Jesus and a chance to get better than you ever could have been.
And Moy makes the completion, and right away, Farrell gets one back with Houston.
Houston, unfortunately, looks like he's going to trip over himself a little bit at the end of this one, but that's the second big touchdown catch of the day for Alex Houston, who had a nice walk-in touchdown on their opening drive of the game. And, you know, just when you thought that Farrell was down on the mat, Houston busts open a big one right here. And this is just a thing of beauty. As you're trying to slow down, a little bit awkward going down, you got to hope that he's all right. But nonetheless, that's a big response right there. They're going to go for 2 and a chance to bring this one back to a 2-score game.
And this is a proud Monsignor Farrell program, right? And we've detailed it a lot. You know, led by a guy who just bleeds Farrell maroon, right? And Rocco Del Priore. And so many times teams are the embodiment of your head coach, right? And Rocco leaves it all out. His emotions are on his sleeve. And he said, you know, part of his 10-year plan as the head coach is, you know, to get Farrell back in years 1 through 5 and then to dominate after that. So it is a team that we know they're going to play regardless of the score, right down to the final whistle.
Yeah, Coach Del Priore is a guy who's literally spent his life at Monsignor Farrell. He's a guy who immediately after graduating decided to join the coaching staff. This is his 21st season coaching on the sidelines for the Lions, only his 4th as a head coach, but somebody who would love nothing more than to bring a title back to Staten Island. We'll see what happens over the remaining 10 minutes and 30 seconds of this one, but either way, there's a program that is clearly ascending right now and has a very bright future. Just look at what some of these young guys are doing out here, the way that they love each other, the way this team embraces one another, and he feels like that 10-year plan is right on track.
So while Houston continues to get checked out in the back corner of the end zone, we'll take a quick timeout as well. 10:30 left in the fourth quarter. It's Iona with a 35-18 lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Well, back here at Moglia Stadium, finally up, but not really mobile, Alex Houston. So we wish him the best going forward. As you said, Farrell will chase these 2 points here. Moy scrambles, still on his feet. Moy turns towards the end zone, and he gets in.
What a play right there.
Alex Houston, he's on the sideline clapping on his back at what he just saw.
Yeah, this is a thing of beauty right here by Bryce Moy, knowing exactly where he needs to get. And the edge of that ball just barely breaks the plane. And that's a huge 2 points right there, because this brings us back to a two-possession game. All of a sudden, things aren't officially done. If you're Iona Prep, still got to make sure you march down the field, try and put another one on them. And if you're Monsignor Farrell's defense, hey, a takeaway right here, a quick 3 and out, all of a sudden gives your offense a chance to make this one interesting down the stretch.
So Burrows on for the kick. They've not really shown the ability or the desire or either to go deep.
And hard to blame them with the kind of playmakers lined up deep for Iona Prep, but
you've got Materia back there as well as Sangare. And off of hands, this is a live ball, and Farrell has recovered.
Wow. Monsignor Farrell's crowd goes crazy. I'm not even sure, Dylan, if this was a designed onside kick, a bit of an awkward line drive to that front line, and bounces off the hands of an Iona Prep Gale into the arms of Monsignor Farrell. Looked like Anthony Vento ultimately jumped on that one, and they're able to steal a possession right when they needed it.
Well, let's see if the Lions can capitalize here. If they get in the end zone, Pat.
Watch out.
Yeah, Farrell Nation is going to lose their minds. It's their ball at the 43. It's a handoff up the middle, and another run by Kevin Gum.
Gum is yet to break one, but you kind of feel like it's a matter of time. The more that number 0 touches the ball. I like the approach from Monsignor Farrell, keeping that balance in your attack.
Nice fake by Moy. Moy tucks it under. Again, angles his run, and he's forced out of bounds. A terrific run by Bryce Moy on the season coming in 37 carries for 271 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, Moy does a really good job here, getting the ball into his left hand, protecting it near the sideline and scampering for another first down. And with just under 10 minutes to play, when we thought that it was all over for Monsignor Farrell, they're showing a lot of fight.
And Alex Houston going right to the sideline saying, "Put me in, coach."
Right there you see Josh Simmons fired up, trying to get his defense back into this one emotionally.
And Houston is coming in now. He looked in bad shape there.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline will do. He's a guy who is fighting his tail off for this team, the Fugazi Award nominee.
Moy back to pass. Ducks under, look out. Pressure comes from behind. And Moy sent down to the turf.
Looked like that was Orion Chihilo who ultimately brought him down.
They watch 55 fight through and then dive. The senior from Astoria, a 2-year starter. That speed rusher.
Across that Throgs Neck Bridge every day to get to class.
Moy, quick out. And there's Houston again. At the 20-yard line.
So impressive seeing Alex Houston fighting through injury to get back out here and contribute. And as a senior, he doesn't want this to be his last game in a Farrell uniform. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to try and build a legacy and a team that the Farrell faithful will never forget.
Moy rushing to the line here. It's 4th and 4.
Got to imagine that play clock is trickling down on 4th down.
It is. It's down to 3 as he gets the playoff. Far sideline, overthrows his brother, the intended target. So Iona Prep, they will bend but not break, and they get the stop that they needed.
Yeah, this ball just sails a little bit on Bryce Moy. He did have a window there, but unable to deliver. And now all of a sudden, an opportunity for Iona Prep to burn some clock and try and gain some distance on Monsignor Farrell.
I have not spent a day of my life, Pat, as an offensive coordinator, but I'm going to go ahead and put on that cap and say, let's hand the ball off to 5.
Yeah, it's not rocket science out here. See him motioning.
Instead, it's an inside pitch to Chase Reeves.
And that Farrell D still fighting hard out here. Getting a lot of hats to the ball, and looks like Reeves is going to be down. A little shaken up after that carry.
So with that, we'll take a break again. 8:24 left here in the 4th quarter. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship on the Varsity Media Sports Network. My bag. I was like,
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email Ben at varsitymedia.net.
All right, back here at Moglia Stadium. There's the handoff to Crew Davis. He was stopped at the 25-yard line, and that's where that forward momentum will get him. Good stop there by the Farrell D.
Going to be third and about 4.5 right here for Iona Prep. And this is not 4-down territory, as you're only at about the 26-yard line. So this is a really big play right here. Don't want to give the ball back to Farrell and give them a chance to try and tighten this one up. So I'd imagine number 5 is going to be touching the ball.
Well, instead it's Guzman. So each time we said Davis should get the ball, they go somewhere else, but still the intended result will get him a first down.
And I guess that's the hallmark of a good offensive coordinator, is when everybody in the world is expecting one guy to get it. Pat Gallo Jr. says, all right, I guess I'll give it to my quarterback.
Well, as I thought you were going with, it's the tale of, or the sign of a terrific team, where you can go to so many different guys.
And those two aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah. And now you can utilize some of that clock. Great being here at a college facility because you have the play clocks in the end zone, so we can tell you right now that there is 7 on the play clock as they get that one off. And usually the high school players have to look at the back judge and wait for his hand to come up and then the count, and it's a lot easier. You get these big, beautiful numbers in the end zones.
A lot more transparency. Good stop right there by Cole Savino. That's one of the few times all day that we've seen one guy be able to bring down Crew Davis. It's going to be second and about 8 right here for Iona Prep, as they're happy to just take their time, watch that clock trickle down, and with it, the hopes of Monsignor Farrell for a AAA championship.
Play clock down to 7. Guzman will throw the ball, and that is incomplete. Wolf was your intended target.
That's an interesting play call right here. You'd expect them to keep the ball on the ground, especially with how effective that rushing attack has been all day long with the clock considerations, but instead you set up a 3rd and 8, and you stop the clock for Monsignor Farrell at 5:51. Right here we see Simmons subbing into the game.
Yeah, Presley in there as well. Presley is usually that guy who comes in on those goal line situations, and this is a big down here, and it looks like Iona will talk it over.
Timeout, Iona Prep.
And we'll take the timeout with them as well. 5:51 left, 4th quarter. You're watching the Catholic AAA Championship on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
And here he comes again. Off the backboard! Are you serious?
Daly tries another 3. That one's good. One from the left corner, now from the right. Daly's on fire with 10 points in the opening quarter.
Loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the 3rd quarter.
Back here at Fordham. Guzman back to pass. Airs it out. And that's complete. What a huge play for the Gales.
Josh Simmons right there. Our defensive player to watch for Iona Prep gets a rare snap on offense. And in one of the biggest situations all day long, they dial up his number. What a gutsy call right here by Pat Gallo. Everybody on earth is expecting them to go to one of those lead playmakers, be it Crew Davis, be it Perello, and instead you dial up number 8, and he steps up in a big way.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line now. And that clock is Iona's best friend at this moment.
Now's the time for Monsignor Farrell. Got to be ripping at the ball, doing whatever it takes to try and force a turnover.
Well, that's not going to happen with Crew Davis. He is too good to allow that to be the situation. He'll move the chains again now.
And number 5, just a one-man wrecking crew. Bump. I'm not a father yet, Dylan, but I think I'll be a good one because I got the dad jokes on deck all day long.
We heard about dad strength in the first game, and we know all about the dad jokes. So the play clock inside of 10 seconds now. And with 1, they'll get it off. Perfect execution there. Guzman stays on his feet, runs this way. Guzman finally taken down.
Guzman, a guy coming into today, was averaging just about 7-8 carries a game, but they've really relied heavily on his legs all day long, and he's stepped up when his number's been called.
Farrell does have 2 timeouts left. Iona with 1.
Really type of situation, though, where if you're a Lions fan, you're praying on a miracle, a turnover, a stop right here, something.
Perillo's motions. There is Davis right up the middle of this Farrell defense to the 10-yard line.
And on 3rd and 1, if I'm the defensive coordinator for Monsignor Farrell, I'm putting basically 11 in the box.
Well, they'll get an injury timeout as it appears a Farrell player is cramping up.
Makes you wonder right here if this is a Lane Kiffin-style injury. A very opportune time to stop the clock. Who was it who pioneered it? Was it Junior Seau back in the day?
I'm not sure, but I laugh because you put to words what was in my brain.
And the Iona Prep faithful on our right side here at Moglia Stadium weren't too happy with it, but either way, hope that the Lions defender is all right.
It appeared that he popped up pretty quickly. So a 3rd and 1. Presley spins, turns, touchdown, Iona Prep.
And with that big touchdown from number 2, you'll see the hopes of a Farrell championship out here tonight go down the drain.
Brennan Presley finds the end zone for the Gales with 2:48 left. And now the PAT. The kick is up, and it is good. Iona Prep has a 41-20 lead over Farrell.
Yeah, and Presley right there just makes it look easy. as he barrels in for yet another Gales touchdown. Now all of a sudden, 2:48 left in the game. The Iona Prep sideline can almost taste victory. Got to be so sweet against a team that handed them their only loss of the year thus far. Not just winning, but in emphatic fashion for Joe Spagnuolo's squad, back-to-back. You talk about how tough it is to stay at the top of the mountain when you're the team that everybody's looking to knock off. Iona Prep's had that target on their back all year long, stumbled only once in their last matchup against Monsignor Farrell, but come out here today and prove why they're the Max Prep's #1 team in all of New York State.
So Farrell will field that ball at their own 21-yard line.
So Farrell going to have a long way to go right here. Probably too little, too late for the Lions, but still got to give a ton of credit to Rocco Del Priore and his crew for the type of year that they've been able to put together. Going to finish 9-2 on the season, so best year in a very long time out on Staten Island. And so much to build on, knowing that guys like Bryce Moy, Braxton Moy, Charlie Costanzo, all coming back, all have a couple years left in that maroon and gold.
Yeah, you've got to figure out that line, because outside of the big cannoli, everybody else graduates. As Moy looks to scramble, stays on his feet, and that ends up being an interception the other way, as Josh Simmons gets the pick.
And Josh Simmons just having himself a huge day out here. Here's our defensive player to watch going into this one. You've seen him all around the field. Obviously had that big catch on the offensive side of the ball, and Iona Prep's most recent drive, and now caps off what's been an outstanding day with a pick that's going to put this one on ice.
Just got a chance to see former Cardinal Hayes legendary basketball coach Tom Murray. Great to see him here in the house at Fordham, taking in the Catholic AAA championship game. That's the other thing. We mentioned all about that Xavier and Fordham Turkey Bowl, but there's another one up on Murdoch Avenue in the Bronx, not too far from here. Mount St. Michael, Cardinal Hayes. Every Thanksgiving morning, C.J. O'Neill tries to beat his alma mater.
Yeah, it's a great tradition. Even though Hayes had a down year this year, I'm sure they'll be back. Another program with a ton of young talent making their return.
There goes Davis trying to kick it to the outside. Penalty flag was thrown. It is an offensive holding penalty. So this will push back Iona. And listen, these coaches, they're gonna they'll celebrate tonight. They'll watch the film, maybe even tonight, and they'll say, they'll not point out all the great things, but they're like, we just, too many penalties on offense,
Yeah,
too many holds.
I was about to say, it's tough to critique the offensive performance that Iona Prep has put on today against a really strong Farrell D, but if there is one thing that you'd point out, way too many penalties in terms of the holdings. Something you got to get cleaned up with a big-time opponent coming down from upstate New York to New Rochelle next week in that state championship game.
Yeah, Iona Prep looking to go back-to-back in that, winning last year as well up in Buffalo.
And they'd be the first back-to-back state champion in the history of that trophy.
So a minute 37 remaining.
Timeout on the field.
Monsignor Farrell going to keep fighting to the very last second. That's a hallmark of that program. They've played for one another all year long, and got to be painful to fall short here in this championship game, but nonetheless, so much to be proud of for these guys. Back to the championship game for the first time since 2021. Continue to knock on that door in their quest to end a 25-year drought.
And what I think, and we said it, I think, in between games, so it was off air, so wanted to repeat it at least for the audience, is that I think one of the things that makes Farrell so impressive, and you've got to really respect the fact that in all those years, they've stayed up. They've stayed as a AAA. They took their lumps, right, as they tried to build back up and become a championship team and be a team that competes for championships, while other teams, not yo-yoed, but, you know, some have come up from the bottom. Iona, Stepinac, Hayes all made that kind of climbing up the ladder in the Catholic League. But before there was a dynasty at Iona or Stepinac or even St. Anthony's, it was Monsignor Farrell for so many years, right? You look up and down at their history, 5 AAA championships, a host of them in the late 80s and the early 90s as well. So they were that team, that AAA powerhouse. And to stay in the AAA, they and St. Anthony's, the two teams that have done that, speaks volumes for them. But for tonight, it is Iona Prep's night. And these Gales, some of these guys were on the field 2 years ago here, losing a heartbreaker to Cardinal Hayes, which was their last in-state loss until they lost to Farrell here at home.
Yeah, tonight they're going to be playing some Drake back-to-back, back in New Rochelle. Gotta feel good for Joe Spagnolo, who was a part of so many great Stepinac teams before he came over to build this program to what he thought it could be at Iona Prep. He's an Iona Prep alumni, had a great college career at Bryant. And now for him, got to taste so sweet, that victory, knowing that they've climbed the mountain yet again and are staring down the barrel at another state championship if they're able to take care of business on their home turf next week.
Congratulations to the Gales of Iona Prep as they win back-to-back Catholic League championships, and they claim their 4th AAA title in their program's history. Altogether, it is their 7th Catholic League championship. They won 1 on the lowest level, the A level. They won 2 on AA and now 4 on AAA.
And can't say enough about the combo of Julian Guzman and Crew Davis. Both guys have been integral parts of winning these last 2 championships. Julian Guzman was the starter at quarterback for both of them. Crew Davis, a guy who's been on varsity since his freshman year, has really made waves in this league for his entire high school career. And for him to cap it off as a senior with yet another championship and a big-time performance here on the biggest stage has got to feel good for the Fairfield native.
And you see the handshake and a great show, a great sign of respect between these two rivals in this one. And now the celebration has begun for the Gales in front of their crowd. What a moment for Iona Prep. They are your Catholic AAA champions yet again.
You know, Iona was the prohibitive favorite all year long. We kind of went into this season saying it's Iona's championship to lose, and so many high school teams, when faced with that kind of pressure, really will falter in these big-time moments. But I think it really speaks to the kind of program, the kind of culture that they've built, the fact that when the brights are at their lightest, that's when this team seems to show up the most. And whether it's looking at earlier on this season, beating a big-time team, Paramus Catholic, who's making their own run through the New Jersey State playoffs right now, to the way that they've handled themselves in New York play, the one hiccup against Monsignor Farrell, and then coming back to avenge that loss in such dramatic fashion out here tonight. It's been nothing but impressive watching the Gales this year.
And Pat, I don't care what level of football you play, whether it's high school, whether in the SEC, whether you're with the Kansas City Chiefs, to go in as the prohibitive favorite and then play the season that you do, you just said that's not easy to do, right? Bullseye every night, bulletin board material. If we beat this team, we beat the champs, we beat the #1 ranked team in the state, whatever it is, and these guys have handled that with great poise.
It's everybody's season when they play Iona Prep. The opportunity to go and knock off the top dog is something that every other team in this league dreams about doing all offseason. And to have that kind of target on your back, to have everybody game planning for you, throwing out the trick plays, throwing out everything they've got in the playbook to try and catch you off guard, it's tough. And, I mean, we even saw it out here tonight. A couple of onside kicks from Monsignor Farrell, a couple of funky different things. They gave up some busts in coverage on those 2 Houston touchdowns. But nonetheless, every time they got punched, they just kept punching back harder and harder. And all of a sudden you turn around and look, and you got yourself another AAA championship.
And what a day Crew Davis had in this one. He's your offensive MVP.
That's back-to-back years. Put on an absolute show last year in this championship game against St. Anthony's and won that award. And here he is again as a senior.
And there's Josh Simmons picking up the defensive player of the game.
Those guys are our 2 players to watch going into tonight. And
fittingly.
And both performed up to or exceeding expectations. Josh Simmons, a guy who's got a bunch of big-time offers, 6'4", 240, and just an athlete in every sense of the word. Had an interception tonight, had a big catch, and they needed it on that last drive.
Look at that moment. What a moment there for Iona. Yeah, they won it last year. They've tasted this before, but again, it's a moment that doesn't get old, right? Not for coaches, not for alums, and certainly not for high school kids who get a chance to experience this again. So congratulations again to Coach Spagnolo, his entire coaching staff, and the entire Iona Prep community as they will go back-to-back as Catholic AAA champions.
These are the kind of nights that you never forget. I know that tomorrow it's back to the drawing board as they look to capture a second straight state championship, but it's important to soak up these moments. These guys will one day look back on tonight and just remember how special it was winning, calling yourself a champion alongside all your brothers. Not easy to do, and there's a reason why what's going on in New Rochelle is so special.
So Iona Prep came in here today on a mission. This business trip that took them from New Rochelle, but Monsignor Farrell, they too wanted to taste victory for the first time in more than 2 decades. But Julian Guzman made sure right away that this was a business trip that was going to be a successful one. Farrell fought back, man. Alex Houston finds the end zone a couple of times here to give Farrell Nation that glimmer of hope, but it was dashed as Brennan Presley finds the end zone again, and all that was left was celebrating for Iona Prep. The Gales, they have gone back-to-back as Catholic AAA champions. For our entire Varsity Media crew, for Ben Turchin, for our technical director, Becca Kazaks, for Steve Ferrandito and Ron Pierre, bringing you all those great moving images. For my broadcast partner, Pat Godfrey, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Fordham University. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.